Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, so we're going to kick it off here with the indices, go over the Mag 7 stocks. I got a few trade ideas and some things that are moving well at the end of the video just for you. Okay, guys, so we did end up pulling back today. I'm gonna go over, guys. Did we top today? Did we top? Did we not? Are we gonna push back up to the highs? Probably. Just gonna say that right now. But yeah, you know, very clear, guys. Very clear. On the downside, you're watching 602.87. We have the daily 9 EMA right below. Okay. Underneath 602.87, we have 599.90, 596.10. All right, and that's that next big spot. That's right at the 21 EMA. And then on the upside, if we can get back above 607.33, I think we just push straight back up to highs. 609.71. We're going 610. All right, and then yeah, we're off the races again, and that would be that. I still think it makes more sense to push up and have this, you know, close out at higher prices than last week's close. I personally do. We just broke out of our consolidation that we had going on over here. We just broke out to new high. I think that's the most likely scenario. All right. But that's over here on QQQ. Coming over to SPY, guys, we did break down from this little slump pennant action we got going on over here, ascending triangle. We broke down. All right. And, you know, we're just going to take that off. Same situation as QQQ. If you can get above this blue line here, okay, which SPY's over here is 670.57. If you get back above the blue line, probably push straight back to all-time highs, okay? Above 670.57, we got 672.68 and then 675 incoming. On the downside, if you do take out 667.34, all right, that's right at the 9 EMA. If you do not hold there, all right, you're coming down. I'm also going to point out right here on the 4-hour 21 EMA. All right, we know that's normally a spot where you're either going to hold or you're not. And if you don't, it creates, you know, either sideways action or a larger, you know, correction than what you already had. So that's what we got. We're sitting in a big spot right now. We're either going to bounce back up, like right back up the highs, and probably going to close out the week strong, or we are going to have a larger correction here that probably lasts multiple weeks. All right, and there's that. I think the most likely scenario here is we push back up to highs. I want to make that clear. All right, downside 667.34, 665.28, 662.37. That is right here at the 21 EMA on the daily time frame. And then yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it. We have the golden pocket sitting down here. So if they do not hold it right here, we're going to look for price to come down to 662.37. Okay, there was a gap, previous gap, and, you know, provide support for 3 days in a row for us. All right, coming over to DIA, guys, it looks like this thing is going to pop up to new highs. Personally, that's what I'm thinking here. That is how it's, you know, that's how it's looking to me. All right, so that's DIA. IWM, you pulled back into the 21 EMA, guys, just like over here, well, you're at the 9 right now. If you do not hold the 9 and we continue pulling back, we have the 21 sitting right below. All right, it's going to be right around this level at 240.93. If we cannot hold 240.93, we're talking 237.55. And then, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't think we're going to have this massive retracement all the way back there. I think this is kind of our worst case scenario, is pull back into the 9 EMA. And that's IWM. VIX is starting to heat up, guys, but as we talked about yesterday, 1938. Until that is taken out, you know, I don't think really there's any concern over here on VIX. That's, you know, our change of character here. We have to take out, you know, our last high. You keep making lower highs here, you got to turn that around. And then you get larger VIX spike, maybe the 25 plus. There you go. All right. MAGS ETF over here, guys, is the MAG 7 stocks. We're still just consolidating over here above the 21 EMA, and it still looks like you want to push higher. I know you had a big ugly fat red candlestick today across the board. I understand. All right, but at the end of the day, nothing has changed. That's that. All right, Meta over here, guys. Yeah, we talked about 20, 30 point bounces being possible once we start getting this daily RSI into oversold territory. We got that yesterday. I said, you know, that don't think that's just going to mean a bottom's in, because that's not what that means. So we've definitely, you know, been able to go lower after seeing these big bounces. We can go lower, okay? But just realize if you do go lower, the next one is probably going to bring another one of those big 20, 30 point bounces, and you could trade that as well. All right. So far, we're holding 691.20 support. Underneath here, though, okay, underneath here, the next big spot is going to be 662.67. All right. And that's meta. That is meta. Once you get back above 740.91, things change a bit. Coming over to Tesla, guys. Oh, they want to play the game some more. This is why I was saying yesterday, I do think it's very likely this thing heads up to all-time highs this month, but is it worth trading it? No. God, no. This thing is definitely not worth trading over other names right now. I'm just telling you. I tried trading it throughout this time. I had a very good time over here, and then, you know, yeah, throughout this, it's just been a choppy mess. There's no clear direction going on here. You're trading like you're in a range, even though you've been slightly moving up. It's, you know, not a good look. You have the daily bearish divergence going on. We know it's heading up to all-time highs, but the question is, does it go like this first? Probably not all the way down there, okay? But, you know, at the same time, I don't know if it's going to get followed with that. Over here, you took out the 21 EMA. It was the beginning of the end. Here, you tested the 21 EMA. It was the beginning of the end for that run. Over here, you tested 21 EMA. It was the beginning of the end for the run. I keep going back. It happens every fucking time. Pardon my French. 21 EMA, beginning of the end. 21 EMA, beginning of the end. You didn't push back up the highs. Okay. Yeah. All right. Over here, you were testing 21 a bunch, but, you know, I'm serious. It just looks like we have, you know, a possibility here of losing it. And if that happens, I'm not confident it just pushes straight back up to highs. I don't care how, you know, this monthly chart looks to me. I'm just using logic here. And yeah, it just would not make sense. So that's Tesla. I still say there's no reason to trade it. I just don't. I don't think it's worth it. It's not worth it. All right. Google over here. Started coming back down, guys. It looks like it's not heading straight back up to all-time highs, guys. That is the case. But, you know, at the end of the day, you're still above the 21 EMA. We'll see what happens. If you do end up, you know, taking this level out at 239.20, I still don't think it's really going to fall that much. I think it's just going to come down to the 9 EMA. I don't think there's any reason to, you know, be macro bearish on the market here. I'm going to make that abundantly clear. There's just not. Call me a perma bull or whatever you want. But there's not, you know, things are in uptrends, things that every fucking time frame, monthly, weekly, daily. You can't really argue with it. You can't. You can try, but you're going to sound stupid because I'm just stating a fact here. And the other people who are also stating facts, guess what? They're facts. Okay, I don't care about your opinions. They don't care about the opinions. The market doesn't care about your opinions. It's fact. That's what's going on. Okay, Microsoft, fact. Retesting where it broke out from yesterday, 521.60. On the upside, we have 526.10, 532.70, 538.25. Apple, guys, holding up very well today. Okay. Yeah, moved up to new all-time highs, imminent, likely going to happen this week. Maybe it is going to build something out. You know, if let's just say we get an inside week, like it's getting ready for a big move. Okay. But yeah, either way, nothing has changed from what we talked about yesterday. Consolidating above the 90 EMA here. If this does not hold, you're watching 250 for buyers to step in. Amazon, just like Apple, holding up very well today. Okay, this is what your market looked like. Okay, you see those bearish engulfing candlesticks? Well, guess what? Amazon and Apple, they did not participate in the selling. They did not. You do have this triple bullish divergence going on over here on the 4-hour RSI. You have a base going on here. If you could just break above 224.20, that's when the party starts over here, and you're probably going 230 plus in the short term over coming sessions. Like we're talking within 3 to 4 sessions, probably getting all the way back up here. All right, NVDA, fact. Break-in retest off 184.48 2 days in a row. Held the 9 EMA right here. Have the 21 EMA sitting down here at 181 if this isn't going to hold. All right. Yeah, I did. Nothing changed. Nothing changed since yesterday. We're in the exact same spot. I think it makes the most sense for this to hold. I don't think this is just going to, you know, boom, pop up to new high and just fade all this consolidation we just went through. I think it's highly unlikely. It can happen, but hey, that's not what I'm going to say is likely. That's that. Nothing changed. All right. And those are the Mag 7 stocks, guys. As you could see, oh, yeah, we still think nothing changed. And yeah, you know, the dip that's going on right now, it's probably, in my opinion, going to be bought up to new highs in the short term. To confirm that, okay, you don't have to guess. Just get above 607.33, and that's telling you you're getting up to highs. SPY, you also don't have to guess. Okay, we knew where buyers were likely going to step in if you couldn't hold certain levels. Okay, in the next spot underneath, I took off the level, but it was 669.46 underneath there. Okay, we're talking down here at the 90 MA. If that doesn't hold, we're talking down here at the 21. It's as simple as that. Don't have to complicate it. All right, keep it simple, stupid. It's a good saying. All right, if you're stupid also like me, it's a great saying for you. Okay, it doesn't matter how smart you are. You keep it simple, you have a good time. You know where everything's going in the market. All right, but you gotta, you gotta see price action play out, and then you react to that price action. That's how that goes. You can play the predictor game. Okay, I do my fair share of it, but at the end of the day, you can also just follow along with price action. You can see where the probabilities are stacking, and then you can make your prediction off of that. It's a constant cycle of that. But yeah, you're sitting right on the 21 EMA. If you do get above 670.57 over here on SPY, we're talking 672.68 can come in the short term, likely going right back to all-time highs. Now, what I will point out, we talked about in yesterday's video, we said it would look pretty funky if you have a fourth red candlestick here, as it always does when that happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that look similar? It looks similar to me, right at the 9 EMA, okay? If you see a gap down tomorrow, people are going to panic. Guess where you're going to gap down to? The 21 EMA. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Came down 21. Lost it per day. Probably had a bunch of people stopping out there, and bang, you recovered the day after. Okay. What happens over here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Exact same thing, except you didn't lose the 21 EMA any of these days. You held it every single day. But yeah, you still did end up getting a decent move down the following session of over 1%, just like you did over here. Okay. So just realize it's possible. And, I think I talked about over the last few videos, I definitely talked about in the Discord, guys, you should not be shitting your pants when the market's doing this. You shouldn't be over leveraged to the gills there where that's happening. Okay. You just shouldn't. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay. If it's happening to you, just understand you are wrong. You're doing it wrong. Okay. I promise. You should not be, down a massive amount here. You should not be wrecked if you have a fucking correction. Okay. Pardon my French, but I'm going to be stern with this one. That's the game we play. And if you wipe yourself out during a correction that happens, every 2 to 3 weeks, just realize you're not going to make it anywhere in the game. It's never going to happen. Okay. You're never going to be able to keep leveling up. You're always going to have to put more capital in. You're never going to, stay in the game long enough to see results. Okay. So the sooner people realize that, I talk about options trading as a form of income. I think everybody should treat it that way. Okay. But no matter whatever vehicle you're trading, you should not have this happen and you be screwed. You shouldn't be shitting your pants here, because I just showed you how we very well can get a -1 to 1.5% day tomorrow, and you shouldn't still be wrecked. That's just how it should go. Okay. If you know for a fact you're in that position, okay, I want you to genuinely take a step back, and I want you to think long and hard about it. How can I make money without putting myself in this position? Things are going to start clicking, because you now know, I'm telling you for a fact, okay? You have to survive these things. You have to. And you should not see a large amount of your money go out the window when the market is doing what it does every few weeks, okay? You got 1, you got 2, you got 3, you have 4, you have 5, you have 6, you're about to get 7, maybe, okay? How long, okay, has that been that we've had these corrections? 3 months. Do you need to have that stress in your life? No. So figure it out, okay? Figure it out. Promise there is a method to the madness. Everybody has their own style, but you have to figure out what I just talked about for yourself. You have to, okay? Think about it. But yeah, those are the indices, guys. Those are the Mag 7 stocks. Let's go over some trade ideas, some things that are moving and grooving, okay? Top watch right now, UNH. For myself personally, UNH, okay? There's a few other hot ones that I'm going to talk about here that I think are going to be exploding over the coming sessions. I got a real juicy one that we've now played 2 or 3 times, and we've absolutely nailed it. One of those times being a 10x'er. We'll see. I don't think we're going to get another 10x on the name here, but I have prepared for the next 4 to 5x on the name. Okay, and I'll share it right after this one. But UNH over here, guys, we talked about it, and it's now getting its first daily close above 362.31. Next stop 368. Next stop from there 376.84, 393.11, 409.70. Okay. If you guessed open, you guessed it. All right. This bad boy right here is getting ready for a big move. Okay. I'm liking the action that's going on here. You had an inside day print today, and if we can, let's just I talk about this sometimes on this channel, actually a lot of times. Okay, so if you're a regular viewer, which I know most of you guys are regular viewers, please remember to hit the like button. I appreciate it. I know most of you guys do not, even though you should, because you're definitely finding value if there is, over 2,000 people returning to the YouTube videos every day. You should like the darn video. Okay. Yes, I guilted you into liking my video. That's fine. I think the value I provide is much better than that guilt. Yes, much more. But over here, guys, inside day, if you print a lower wick like that, most of the time the next session, you're going to come into that lower wick, okay? And the next, candle, whatever time frame you're on, next candle, that's typically how that goes. Ideally, we pull back over here, okay? Maybe, yeah, 880, $9, 880, 910, okay? 880 to $9, okay? Don't take out the low over here. Mark out the low. Don't take it out. All right, 841. We don't want it. We don't want to risk coming back down here. That's not a sign of strength. That is the opposite of what we want. Okay, we want to pull back into the lower wick. Then we want to push through 969. So set your alert for 969. Now, if this thing just gets a juicy gap up here, a 10-15% gap up, we go straight to, highs over here, 1055. And at that point, I think we have another one just like here. We're gapped up into highs. And this was that surprise, that big ass move we got to catch. It was gnarly. All right. Congrats if you made money over here. It was one of our big winners. Guess what? I think we have another chance of this at getting, I'm not saying that was a surprise over there. I didn't think the thing was going to gap up 30%. Okay. I don't think it's going to gap up 30% now, but to get, get it going like that, you need a massive move. That thing went up almost 100% in one day. The underlying. Okay. But over here, guys, I'm talking 1344 kind of as a minimum target. I think we're going we're talking 15 plus, but $16 to $18 on this next move. I think it's possible, and I also think it's probable. Hang on, come down. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1. Expect the 2. So if we push through 1055 this week, which I honestly, as of right now, I'm thinking that's probable. I think we are going to start the fire here, and we're going to get through our consolidation. This is 1 2 3. This is 1 2 3, and then hit it with the stick. I think we're starting to hit it with the stick, and we'll see if we get the fall through tomorrow. But yeah, ideally we pull back into the lower wick, push through 969, and that starts to move up to 1055. Above there, I think we genuinely go straight to 1344. That's the next spot that I'm seeing on my chart, and in between here, there's really nothing. Okay, it's open. It's down. All right, I'm not telling you it's a guarantee it's happening this week, but I really like how this thing is shaping up. And if this thing could just send this over 1933 for your boy, I'm gonna be really happy. Either way, we got, the market wants to do whatever it's going to do. I'm telling you all the time, guys, there is something moving with the market. Okay. It's your job to determine where that is, or if you want to trade with the market, okay, you have to maneuver around it. I personally, every single darn stankin' video, handpick these stocks for you guys. Okay. These are the stocks that I'm watching for my own personal trades. These are stocks, if you're in the Discord, you guys know we're talking about these stocks pretty much all the time. That's how they make their way over here. Okay. If you want to come trade with me, I'm live every day. The link is down below. But sound over here is one I'm getting ready for. And I think this could definitely be it could be an outsized mover. I'm talking a 20 to 30%, 1 to 2 day move over here is possible. Real quick, 20, 30% move. Brings you up here, okay? 20% brings you up here, 30% brings you up here. And once you're up there, I think that thing's probably just getting warmed up. Okay. But yeah, weekly candle, it'll expand if you get above 1933. It's going to be a squeezer. Okay. I like what's going on in the daily. It's still consolidating here. And yeah, you just got to break above 1933, and that ignites this big, beautiful baby over here. It's going to light him on fire. The baby is going to be lit on fire. Okay. It's going to be a flaming angel shooting into the sky. That sound. Okay. TMC, the metals company. What you know about the metal-y? Yep. Last few breakouts, guys, along this whole run, every single one, you got this 35 to 50% move. All right. And most of them had the vast majority of that move happen that first week. All right. This one over here, 35%. This one was 40% right there. This breakout the first week had a 27% move. This breakout the first week had a 43% move. The smallest one I just pointed out for us is 27%. What I have laid out here is the 2-week move. All those hit, these numbers within 2 weeks. Okay. But real talk, this is the smallest one right here, 27%. The next week you had a 35% move. So if we're gonna, and this is the biggest correction you've had, so I'm guessing this is gonna equal the biggest move. Okay. So yeah, first week, guys, 27% incoming. Current price is not up here right now. Okay. That would be all the way up to $11 by Friday. Okay. Do I think you're going to stop there? No, I think you're honestly going to have a 50% move here. I think this thing might go a little crazy. That monthly chart looks insane. This might get 12, 13 by end of week. Put it on your radar. Pay attention over the coming weeks. But this is nice volume coming to the stock over here. And I don't think it's going to consolidate. And if it does give you a consolidation today, day tomorrow, then it sets up for a big move the following session. I'm pretty sure. TMC. Okay. Rocket Lab, okay? We're talking about it just like over here, right? Well, if it's going to trade just like how we pointed out over here after you got that breakout, actually, we have multiple moves like that taking place, okay? Boom. All right? So just realize, if you're not in it right now with us, okay, like I'm personally, I'm only in, I got some 1017 60C over here. I had, further in the money calls over here and decided to give them away because Rocket Lab been playing games for far too long. And I figured I might as well just wait for the actual breakout to start. And then on that first pullback, I'm going to add size. All right. And that's going to be using 1121 expiration. All right. But I'm just telling you, at some point, this thing's going to pull back to the 9 EMA, and that's your entry point. That's going to be my entry point for, adding on those 1121 calls. That can be your entry point. You could do whatever the heck you want to do. But I like to think to myself that I help people over here make some nice educated decisions with their own money. Okay. No financial advice. But I like to, think I do help with that, the department there. Okay. And this is just one of those things. Okay. You don't have to follow my trade plan. You do not. Okay. You don't. But either way, I hope you guys are having a good time. And maybe some of you guys already, got to play this guy with me. We played it a few times. All right. Sometimes the thing gets absolutely shat on. Okay. But, real talk, this thing has been consolidating for a very long time. I'm highly doubtful we're going to get a fake out move here. Highly probable this thing's going to 70 plus in the short term. We're talking maybe by next week. But yeah, if you get the pullback, that's where you could quickly, within 2 sessions, get a nice 10 to 15% move going. What if this thing pulls back over here? And also, I think we pointed out, I know I did in Discord today, but yeah, 56 to 58. That's what I was thinking. We get a pullback going over here. We're just getting a bit extended. The thing took no prisoners. Okay, the thing shot up after that. Okay, you tagged $57. But yeah, I don't know if I mentioned yesterday's video, but I mentioned this morning. But yeah, it's going to be going higher. Wait for that pullback. Catch your 10 to 15% move. Imagine if you catch this move right here. Okay, real quick. 2 sessions. 8 points, 2 sessions. When you see that, you can load on shorter dated risk. You can load on the swing position, just like I'm talking about. You can do whatever you freaking want. Okay, but that's how I'm thinking it's going to go. That's Rocket Lab. HIVE, Hive. What the heck is this volume coming into the stock, guys? We've talked about this since over here. All right, the thing has now just about doubled from when I started putting it on all of y'all's radar. Okay. real talk, this is crazy. Okay, this is genuinely a crazy ass move that's happening right now, and I don't know if it's going to stop. I'm not telling anybody to chase it, and I'm telling in terms of options, this option chain is extremely efficient. It's hard to make, like, you can make money on it, but you know, just doing math ahead of time, okay, just intrinsic value kind of moves, all right, buying out the money calls and having them go into the money, you're not going to be making too much money on these massive moves. Like 40% move on the week, and like, yeah, options aren't going to be up all that much. They're probably up 200, 300%, depending what expiration you got. And that's, you know, on the shorter expirations. So just realize that is how this is over here on the sticker. I know, you know, most of us, you know, we trade some options here. I know I personally do. I think most of you guys do. But, you know, real talk, this thing might just be a monster move over here that, you know, if you want to ride it out, you could try playing with options, but, you know, the larger moves, sit on shares. Okay. But that's Hive. I think next leg, you could see it over here on the 4 hour. I think it's about to start up. This thing's beautiful. Okay. I really wish options moved much better over here. I really do. Because on a daily basis, you have crazy moves over here. But yeah, the break and retest off 574, 554, 574. Those are supply now flipped into a demand zone. Next leg up brings you to 684 to 753. Okay. It's a hot one. And I know it looks a little crazy, okay, but it's likely going to just go like this. Or we have this. All right, take your pick. Take your pick. What do you want to do, Mr. Market, huh? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I don't know, but I'm going to be watching this one, and I kind of hope it's this opportunity right there. It would be killer if we can get underneath the 21 EMA, reclaim it, take the entry there, and then get in right before a massive move. So I'm hoping we get, you know, over here and, you know, not over here, but we'll see what happens. We will see. Either way, I am looking for further upside over here, and I think it makes sense for it to move higher this week. I do. I'm not saying it does, and if it doesn't, then it's just like over here. You pushed up, created a high, pulled back, pushed up, created another high right there, swept it, all right, pulled all the way back down. So that's like us coming back down 1660, 1650 maybe, and then pushing back through it next week. And that's what gives you your next big breakout here. 40% move within 2 weeks from that point. All right, from that breakout. So yeah, I'm watching you for that move. Okla over here, guys. We knew it was likely going to get bought. Okay. And it still hasn't really, you know, taken off and made a new high there. I'm telling you, I don't know if it's going to continue consolidating here, but you could look on the 4 hour what it's trying to do. Like, it looks like it's probably going to get something going like this. Okay. Where you push up. That's where we are right here. Okay. And you pull back, and then, you know, it's probably going to push up to new highs following that. So yeah, if you pull back, hold the, you know, 4 hour 21 EMA here, as long as you're above there, you know, it's good. Okay. If you lose that, then it's a bit different than what you got going on over here. It is. It's still probably going to be bought up to new highs. Okay. You might return down to 122.48 before doing so, build out more of a range here. Really not sure, but you know, I am looking for this thing to continue up to new highs. I think we get 160 plus in this name. All right. SCRV, guys, we got the pullback today. All right, we talked about the big breakout potential over 1531. I think this thing could take 17 to 18 bucks pretty quick here. I'm liking how the 4 hour set up. I really do. I'm liking how the weekly set up over here. I really do. Maybe it, you know, fails this, and it's going to return to this high. I just can't really tell you exactly when. But yeah, you know, ideally you do build out, you know, another day of consolidation. Maybe it's going to go something like that. Okay. Before, you know, a nice impulsive move back up within like 2-3 sessions, you push back up the highs. Either way, keep it on your radar, because we likely have a larger move right on the horizon here. It looks, by the time you get back up to these highs, you're probably starting that move, and next stop, you're coming up 18 bucks. All right. And that is SCRV path. All right. Weekly chart, monthly chart, they look like a larger move is coming. So yeah, you did get buyers bringing you right back up on the dip today. I like how the 4 hour is set up over here. It looks like they want to take this higher. It might build out consolidation a little bit more here. All right, build something out. But it does look like they want to, they want to keep dragging this thing higher. So it's one to pay attention to. But, I would focus on the names that just mentioned before this. I would not focus on that. Now, this is one that's starting to take off over here. I saw this on Twitter yesterday. And now it is, I got a ticker request on it today. And all of a sudden I see the thing is up 25%. I'm like, hot damn. All right. Then what goes on the after hours? Okay. It was actually up another like 15%. Hot damn. Okay. This is probably just getting started. Look at this thing. Okay. And this reminds me of RCAT right over here, which is also probably just getting started, but, 1.75 bill market cap. And then what is this? 700 million. So this thing has a much easier time moving. All right. You have the heaviest volume that ever came into the stock. It happened today. Monthly volume is already it is already past what it was last month. In one day, we got that volume together. What the heck is that about? Okay. Yeah, very likely this move just started. I think this is going much higher. And, I will not be surprised to see this thing get back up these highs over here at 13 bucks. This looks like it can move. And I'm seeing it's getting some traction on social media. It is. I literally just saw it on Twitter. I didn't take any note of it. The thing, I get a tick request for it today, and I check it out, and hot damn, the thing it moved like crazy. So yeah, probably got to keep moving like crazy now that it's getting heated up. Okay, getting warmed up there. Oscar, I told you guys, all right. I know for a fact you're being a greedy pig. If you took the entry when we were pounding the table on over here, it didn't matter if you're 1017 calls, 1121. You probably could have went further out. You're still up a pretty penny. Okay, you're gapping into big resistance there, 2379. I told you guys I personally thought we were going to reject there, and you get this opportunity there. And so far, that looks to be what's happened. I hope some of you guys, took those off today. Because yeah, you're up a decent penny there. But yeah, nothing really changed over here. Same thing we talked about yesterday. Still thinking this could bring a really big move. But yeah, we talked about this potential pullback from this area. We talked about how the daily RSI, once it gets up to a certain spot, it's, normally just going to grind higher. And then, the upside is limited before a pullback. That's what we're seeing right here. Okay. I'm expecting buyers on the pullback, but really not sure how deep it goes. We have been away from the 5 EMA now for 2 sessions, and we're probably going to test it tomorrow. That's probably going to be like 21.5, I would guess, or we will stay consolidating over here. All right, but I do think moving averages catch up to price in the short term. HIMS over here, guys, it's getting ready. Above 60.55. This thing might actually start taking off. All right, I've been vocal about how we're watching HIMS. I told you, just watch, mark out. All right, send an alert for 60.55. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to pay attention to this chart over here until that, alert gets hit. From that point, you could take your swing entry if you want. I told you guys, people might not like this candlestick that, printed over here. They might think it's bearish. Well, Henry Boy over here thinks structure just got built on the chart, and we're finally ending these dreadful lower wicks we got over here, which just means consolidation. Okay, that's indecision going on. What this shows me is, boom, decision was made, and then boom, if we could take out this high, another decision gets made. The buyers treat this as a buy the dip opportunity. They took it up to new highs. We have a structure break over here, and guess what? You usually move up to the next area of structure, which is up at 65.89. Okay, that's where we have a lot of reactions going on up here. That's where we should see sellers step back into the mix. But I'm telling you, by the time you get up there, this thing actually might just go like this. Why? Because monthly candle. All right, we talked about, and I know it was a red candle the last time we talked about HIMS over here. Okay, we talked about in the weekly update, we talked about yesterday. All right, monthly candle was down here. It was red. But we do know this is likely going to turn into a stick, guys. We're likely pushing new all-time highs this month, 72.98. Put it on your radar, okay? Because I'm telling you, the setup is now better than when we talked about it. When we started talking about this bad boy, it's much better now. And I think this thing might be doing some cool things. We nailed Oscar over here. Congrats. You got, 100, 200%, depending what expiration you got on, okay? You took it from down here, took it to up here. HIMS, I'm telling you, the thing is about to move. Healthcare in this market right now, it doesn't really care all too much. UNH, I'm pounding the table on it. I was pounding the table on it down here. I'm telling you, this is a blessing that you're getting consolidation right here, because this is about to start hitting. It's going to hit the jets, okay? But yeah, I'm telling you, another, healthcare stock over here. You got Oscar, you got HIMS, a little bit different, not a little bit, very, very, very different. But I'm just telling you, it's a theme I'm seeing. Healthcare stocks in general, doesn't matter what, little variation of healthcare they're in. Yeah, they're holding up well. Okay, they are. And HIMS, we already knew the setup was there before we see this theme, holding up well. Okay, so put it on the radar. 60.55 break, 65.89, 72.98, and then baby, 80, 90, $100. Let's get it. And that's what I have for you guys today. All right. I want to take the time and say SOFI, guys, we had this blue level marked out, 26.61. All right. That was your breakout level right over there. Guess what? It served that as a nice level to pivot up off of over here as well. Okay. You got back above it. Cloud is about to flip back to green as of tomorrow's session. Above today's high at 28.84, guys. You have nothing until 30.30. I do think we're going to take out 30.30. I think we're probably going to blow it out the water. I think we go straight to $35. Okay, I know I sound crazy, but yeah, that's I'm thinking this thing is going to move over here. Okay, but we should take out 30.33, 30.30 at a minimum, even if it's going to be a false breakout over here. False breakout was still 7% move. Okay, if we get a 7% move over here, that is still bringing you up to 32.50. We're going to call it. Okay, current price is $28. Oh, congrats, 4 to 5 points later. All right, guys. With that being said, I will catch y'all in the next one. If you guys enjoyed the video, found value in the video, please remember to leave a like. If you would like to come trade with me, I'm live every day. That link is down below. All right, and if open ends up exploding over here, if we get sound or open exploding, we'll do a lifetime 50% discount code. Okay, but that's not going to be today. Okay, we're going to wait and see if these guys give us our next banger of a trade over here. I'm pretty sure open's going to rock it, guys. I'm being transparent. I like to think I'm a genuine dude on this channel over here. Real talk. I think it's going to make a big move, and I think people can make an absolute shit ton over here on open. I think it's a really clean setup. I think UNH over here, I'm pounding the table on it because it just looks like the no-brainer of a play right now to me. The thing's going up to highs. Palantir, it's also no-brainer. It's going back up to highs, but you got the things moving right now. I can't control Palantir. What I can say is UNH is just now starting to break out. You guaranteed you had the false breakout there. Guess what? You now have a daily close above your breakout level, 362.31. This is probably breaking above 368 tomorrow. Maybe it gets a gap up. Maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't get a gap up, it's a blessing, because maybe a gap up is right around the corner and you can get in. Okay. Do whatever you want. No financial advice will be, given here on this channel. But there's some clear as day, big moves that are happening. They're starting. And yeah, you could take advantage of them. You can make some money on them. Okay. SCRV over here. I'm just going to let you guys know. RR, by the way, I'll give a brief little update here. It looks like it wants to take out 743 and push 850. And, $8. That was originally our target for it. I do think this thing is going to make it up here at this point. But yeah, please, guys, just realize like we're taking this from, $3 over here, the threes, and we took it into the eights. Okay, so just realize that's how it is. I started putting it on your radar over here, low threes, and I pounded the table on it right over here, high threes. Okay, like real talk.